Michelle Obama says people who don't trust politics, they don't trust politics because the Republican Party is made up of old white men. Roll tape.
On one side of the room, it's literally gray and white. Literally, that's the color palette on one side of the room. On the other side of the room, there's yellows and blues and whites and greens. Physically, there's a difference in color, in the tone.
Wow.
Because one side, all men, all white. On the other side, some women, some people of color.
Joining us now is Katrina Pierson, a member of the Trump for President Advisory Board. I want your reaction to what Michelle Obama just said, please.
You know, Stuart, I won't hold my breath for the New York Times headline about Michelle Obama's divisive language and racism in her tone. But I will point out that, as a proud Texas resident, the Republican Party was founded by black men. Think about that for a second. You know, this is one of the reasons why people in this country stay so divided, because of the things like Michelle Obama that she says and those in her party. And it's really upsetting because her husband was president for 2 terms, and he couldn't have done that with the help of millions of white people in this country. So it's really sad for her to say that.
I think it's divisive. That will be my first comment. Very divisive. But I'm going to move on to Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Now, he pledged his loyalty to President Trump yesterday, and that pledge came after NBC News reported Tillerson had called the president a moron and had threatened to resign. All right, here's the next case. What do you make of that?
Well, I think what this is, you know, I've been around President Trump since before he announced, and I have to tell you that this is nothing but a distraction. Because what this president has been able to do, particularly with 3 natural disasters, and this was on the cusp of his trip to Puerto Rico, where he has mobilized the military, where he's getting aid to several million people. And I've got to tell you, this happened in July. So for this to be a headline suddenly, it's really just to distract from all of the good that President Trump is doing for people that are a part of our country. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be seeing this.
Let me ask you, Katrina, have you ever asked, have you ever said to anybody, have you ever used nasty words to describe somebody? Maybe not in their presence, but you're a moron or you're an idiot. I mean, you ever said that?
Well, there wouldn't be anything that I would say about someone that I wouldn't say to their face or on air. So, of course, those kinds of things get said. But I think what's more important to the American people with regards to news and headlines are what's happening in our country with tax reform, with health care, with getting aid to the people, to our fellow Americans, not the simple petty stuff that Rex Tillerson even mentioned. I mean, this is very petty.
I mean, the president is right in the middle of dealing with the worst mass shooting. He'd just come from Puerto Rico, where he's dealing with a dreadful calamity called Maria on the now desolate island. He's dealing with North Korea, and you get this report from NBC News, which just pops right up there.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, about an event, a statement, a word used months ago by the Secretary of State, and he has to come out and do a special statement pledging support for the president. I think you're right. I think it's a distraction, and I think it was seen for precisely that. Last word to you.
Well, that's exactly right. It was very telling. You know, this president has come through so many crises in the country, coming out on top, and the media cannot let that come out. They can't talk about the good things that he's doing. It always has to be bad, no matter what, and that's why this came out, just to distract people from what he's actually doing.
Katrina Pierson, welcome back to the program. Good to see you again.
Great to be here.
We'll see you